So this whole time we've been talking about marginal revenue and marginal cost, and we're trying to find what is the profit maximizing level of output. What is our profit maximizing level of output? How much should we be producing? And that's all well and good, ladies and gentlemen, but what if we have tackled this from a different way? What if we wanted to find the profit maximizing level of input? What if as an operation we're not quite sure how much we want to be putting out as an output, but rather we want to figure out, well, what's the profit maximizing level of fertilizer we need to use? Or what's the profit maximizing level of feed that we need to use? Or what's the profit maximizing level of chemicals that we need to use? Let's find it out from the input standpoint. Well, to figure out the level of resource use, or the level of input use, we're going to actually use the concept of marginal input cost and marginal value of product. Now it's going to be the same general concept. We're actually looking at mirror images of each other, of the level of input versus the level of output. So just like marginal revenue needs to equal marginal cost, marginal input cost needs to equal marginal value of product. So what is the marginal input cost? Well, the marginal input cost is the cost of using one more unit of input. How much more is it going to cost me to use one more unit of input? And guess what? That's just the cost of the input. How much more is it going to cost me to use one more pound of fertilizer? How much more is it going to cost me to use one more bag of feed? Something along that nature. Whereas the marginal value of product is the revenue earned from using one more unit of input. So if I use that one more pound of fertilizer, how much additional revenue is that going to bring me? How much is that going to earn me? So the marginal value of product is actually the marginal physical product, which, if you remember, is the marginal physical product is the additional output per use of one more input times the product price. So the marginal physical product is, well, how much more am I going to get by using one more unit of input? How much more am I going to get out in using one more unit of input? I'm going to multiply that times the product price to figure out how much am I going to receive in revenue from using one more unit of input. So the profit maximizing level of input occurs where the cost of using one more input equals the revenue earned from using one more input. It's where that marginal input cost equals the marginal value of product. So let's look at this table. So we have all this calculated out. We have our marginal value product right here, or the marginal physical product right here. That's that. How much output are we going to earn from using one more unit of input? So then we're going to take that and actually multiply it by the product price. So we're going to take the product price of $45 multiplied by the marginal physical product to get this value of marginal product right here. So what I would encourage you to do is go ahead and do that on your own. Take this marginal physical product, multiply each one by 45, and see if you can get this marginal value of product right here. So go ahead and take a little bit of time to do that. Now the marginal input cost is actually equal to $5. So in this particular case, whatever input we're using is $5. And in the example that we were using this was all labor, daily labor use. And the cost per unit of labor was $5, or the cost per hour is equal to $5. So let's think about it this way. Well, first and foremost, let me back up. Because we're still dealing with perfect competition, the firm is still a price taker, and now they're a price taker on the inputs. So the price of the input is going to be constant throughout. It's not going to be changing because they're going to be a price taker, because we're dealing with a perfectly competitive environment. So let's start looking at these numbers a little bit. The marginal value of product at this particular point is $14.85, which means by using one more input, we're going to earn $14.85 off of that one more input, versus our marginal input cost is $5. So it's going to cost us $5 to use one more hour of labor, but yet it's going to yield us $14.85. That marginal net benefit is $9. So Are you going to use that extra hour of labor? Well, yeah, you're going to use that extra hour of labor because that extra hour yielded you $14.85, whereas it only cost you $5. So by using that same logic, we increase production from 16 to 20. Now, if we increase production from 16 to 20, our marginal value of product is now increased because we're capturing efficiency at this point, and we're actually going to receive $20. It's only going to cost us $5. Or are we going to increase? Yeah. What about if we go increase from 20 to 22? Well, same situation. Our marginal value of product is greater than our marginal input cost. Yeah, we're going to increase production. So we're going to keep going down. And we keep going down to daily labor use of about 40. And we start getting close. And again, we're not going to hit it exactly right. But here, the marginal value of product is 0.675 or 6.75, and our cost is $5. So we earn $6.75, but it's costing us $5. Are you going to do it? You going to increase production? Well, yeah, you're going to increase production because you still have that marginal net benefit right here. It's still going to cost less than what you're going to make off of using that one more input. So then we go down here to the next round. And now on this next round, we're only going to earn $3.60 off of using that next unit of input. That next hour of work is only going to earn us $3.60, but it's going to cost us $5. So let me ask you this. Would you ever run an operation where you hire on a worker and that worker only produces enough output to earn you $20 an hour, but you're going to pay him $50? No, you're not going to do that. You're probably going to actually lay that person off. It makes no sense to keep them there. So as long as that marginal value of product is greater than the marginal input cost, and remember that marginal value of product is how much are they earning per unit of input. How much is that input going to earn you? As long as it's greater than the marginal input cost, you're going to increase production. But as soon as that marginal value product is less, that amount that you're going to earn per input is less than the amount that it's going to cost you per input, you're actually going to decrease production. Guys, it follows the same trend as marginal revenue and marginal cost. The only difference is marginal revenue and marginal cost looks at it from an output standpoint. Marginal revenue is what is the additional revenue that I will receive from using one more unit from making one more unit of output. Marginal cost is how much will it cost me to produce one more unit of output. Marginal value of product looks at it from the input standpoint. How much will I receive in revenue from using one more unit of input? Marginal input cost is how much is it going to cost me from using one more unit of input. As long as the revenues outweigh the cost from using that one more unit, whether it's input or output, you're going to increase production. But as soon as the additional cost outweigh the revenues, you're going to decrease production.